So when I stepped up to shoot the free throw, it's the most nervous I've been in years.
Stop it.
Yeah.
In years.
Stop it.
Yep.
Come on.
And reason being is those kids heard the stories from the parents about what I did 30 years ago.
Right.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, about the Michael Jordan on NBC segments, a lot of you guys wanted me to react to them one at a time, but I thought that was like, I don't know, like 3 minutes worth of Jordan speaking. Like, should I really make a video on it? I figured I'd wait for 3 of them to drop. The irony is the first 2 dropped like 1 week at a time, 1 week separating them, and then it took like another month for the third one to drop. But we're finally here, so I figured it's not like an honest reaction because I have watched these on my own. Of course I have. Like, what Jordan fan of my magnitude would not have watched this before? So I have seen these all. But I figured let's go through them. Let's talk about the things that he's bringing up, and let's just see where it takes us. So I'm going to react to all 3 of them, starting with the very first one, and we're going to do this right now. So obviously this is coming from the NBA on NBC YouTube channel, the official channel. So I am going to link it down below in the description like I always do, and I really actually recommend checking this out because not only, you're going to get the highlights for the games and all that, but you're going to get all the analyst breakdowns and stuff. Plus, you're going to get all the Jordan segments. Like, really cool channel. And it is a new channel because they just got the NBA back on board. So it's pretty cool to see. And they're only getting like a couple hundred views per video, which is very ironic. But anyways, that's neither here or there. Guys, let's do this. Yeah, like the vid if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And shout out to members. This might get copyright claimed. Who cares? Whatever happens, happens. Let's just do this. Here we go.
The term load management has become such a hot button in the NBA.
How I know you were going to talk about that one?
Because you played 80 games a lot. You played 82. What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed. First and foremost, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. He's calling me all kinds of names. I definitely want to shut him up.
Yep.
You have a duty that if they're wanting to see you, and as an entertainer, I want to show. Right? So
I forgot that he actually used the term entertainer because I've been saying this for a while too. And that's why I compare it to other things like a concert, for instance. You can't be the lead singer in a band and just not show up and let your band play without a singer the entire show and just go, well, sorry, no refunds. Like, that kind of stuff does not fly. So why is it so okay for NBA players to not perform when they're being paid to perform, and their customers are paying high dollar to get these tickets in order to watch the performance? You know what I mean? Why do they get to just dip out whenever they want? Why is there no refund or discount on those tickets?
If the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
It is.
So give me the first time that you came to that fork in the road.
And honestly, that's just how work mentality was back then in general. If you're good enough to go to work, you go to work. You don't take like a day off just for shits and giggles. Like, you go in.
In your career, where you could have sat down and missed a game, but you fought through.
Third game of the season, started my career.
Okay.
I twisted my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you twist your ankle, young fella. Come over and sit with me. This is you need to. I said, no, man. I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact. And I twisted my ankle. I taped it up, and I went back out and I played. And I felt that. I always felt that. I always felt the necessary need that I could never leave my comrades out if I could perform, right? Even if I couldn't. Utah, great example. Everybody said the flu game. It's a game 5, which is a very pivotal game. I was going to find a way to get out there, even if I was a decoy. Well, once I got out there, you never know how, pushing yourself, you never know what happens, right?
Yeah.
So that night you got out there and you found you could do more than you thought you were going to be able to do.
Next thing you know, the emotions, the situation, the need of the team, all those things catapulted me to, I'm going to gut this thing out. Back to your point of what load management is.
But real quick on his point there, I wonder how relatable that is to some of you. That when he's talking about that, it's incredibly relatable to me. When it came, probably because I grew up watching him, but when it came to basketball, if I was sick, like I had the flu or a fever or a twisted ankle or a jammed finger, like all of these things happened on a regular basis being a daily basketball player. I swear, the hardest thing was getting out on the court to get the willpower to do it. After that was over with and the game started, sometimes those would be my best performances. And I wonder if you guys had that experience too. If you just get over the hump and you face that fear of, man, this is going to suck. Like, this is going to really hurt. And you just get over it and you get out there and you try. It's interesting what happens. The ankle can loosen up. The finger doesn't bother you nearly as much. You're exhausted from your flu or whatever, but you're still like trucking through. And for whatever reason, you're hitting more shots than usual. It's a funny thing, but I watched Jordan do it his whole career, and I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it. That's just how that kind of influence goes. Let me back it up real quick because he introduces what he's going to get into.
Back to your point of what load management is you play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? To me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day of work.
Yeah.
Or your next, challenge.
That's when you rest.
Now, I'm the worst. Maybe I'm not one of the guys that you would probably model that, or
I was going to say, did you do that every time?
But you should think about that in retrospect of what load management really is.
Yeah, but Jordan didn't have to really think about it because he was able to play 82 games while playing golf all the time and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He showed up. But yeah, to his point, to those who need to load manage 20 games a year, yeah, maybe we got to look into what you're doing on your free time. Why are you too tired to play? Why are you not able to play? What's going on? Are you not resting when you're not playing a game? Like, what's going on here?
Always felt like one, it was a sense of pride for the fans that are paying. Mm-hmm. 2 is a sense of making sure that I stay sharp. I'm not going to lose it. And 3, I want our rhythm as a team to always be there.
Yes.
It can disrupt that synergy that's happening.
Okay. That was the first one. We got 2 more to go. Just my final comments on that, because he ended with it. That chemistry and synergy he's talking about. I think of last season, the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard was playing pretty much the entire. I think he was playing their entire playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure he played the entire playoffs. Now that's cool to see Kawhi out there in the playoffs, but why didn't it work? Well, because the team was used to playing without him all year. So now you throw in a big impact player like Kawhi, and they're having to figure out their chemistry. And all the while they're doing that in a playoff run, which is why it didn't work. So yeah, you have to, if you're going to be a leader, you have to be leading all season long. The troops, your comrades, whatever term you want to use, like they all have to figure out their role under your command, essentially, and also be able to trust in you as a leader. You're going to be there because you proved to them throughout the entire regular season. You're going to be there. When the time comes, you're going to be there, and you're going to make the right decisions. But if you just show up in the playoffs, yeah, there's no trust built there. There's no chemistry built there. No synergy. All right, let's see. I forgot what the second one was about.
Jordan has won it. spectacular hole. Again. It is Michael Jordan time. Yes!
It's amazing. You never really know when you're in the prime of your career how much time you really do not have for family. That's what I have time to do now. I mean, the most valuable asset I have is time.
Right.
So that's probably why you don't see enough of me, because that time I'm trying to spend with family members and things that I've been missing.
My bad, you guys. By the way, I got this in the wrong order. This was the first video, the pay it forward video. My bad.
Missing out on for such a long time.
Do you ever pick up a ball and just shoot?
I haven't picked up a ball in years.
No, come on. Just like walk past. There's got to be a hoop somewhere at your place.
You don't see a hoop anywhere around here, right?
I don't. But
It's a
seriously,
reason.
the last time you picked up a basketball and shot it.
That's funny because his old house did have a basketball court in there, but yeah, he's avoiding the game.
I was at the Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
and I rented a house from the owner.
Sure.
He came over to do pictures. He had grandkids. And I was meet and greet and thank him for allowing me to stay in the house. And he had a basketball court. He says, I want you to shoot one free throw. I said, really? And I already paid for the house. It's not like you got to see me. So when I stepped up to shoot the free throw, it's the most nervous I've been in years.
Stop it.
Yeah.
In years.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Come on.
And reason being is those kids heard the stories from the parents about what I did 30 years ago.
Right.
So their expectation is 30 years prior, and I haven't touched the basketball.
I hope you swished it.
Absolutely.
Okay. The funny thing is there's a video floating around of this exact thing that he's describing. And it was funny because like the Nick Wrights and all the LeBron people, they were like, oh, it's a fake story. It's not a real story, blah, blah, blah. No, there's video footage. Like it actually happened and he was nervous. He didn't want to shoot the free throw, but he sunk it. He even said at one point, he was like, please go in.
I got the most gratifying that made my whole week.
And then compare that to when like LeBron was in China in the offseason, just like chucking up half court shots and not caring about the expectation that, people have on him because they hear the stories of LeBron James like, oh, that's a great basketball player. Let's see him in action. And he's just like chucking half court shots and lefty shots and bricking everything. And it's like, what the hell? But then you got a Michael Jordan who's been retired for over 20 years now. And he's, it's just for the sake of showing a couple of kids him shooting a free throw. And he feels that amount of immense pressure. And yet he still delivers on it. It's different mentalities. So when you think about why does someone not show up to a game while somebody like Jordan, if he's got a busted knee or a busted ankle or a flu, he's still showing up for the game. That's why. He wants to make people happy with entertaining them, and his art is basketball.
That I was able to please that kid.
There it is.
Not knowing if I could.
Yeah.
So you let us bring a camera or two to your place here to talk to you about basketball. Why do you want to share what you're thinking about basketball now?
It's pay it forward. I have an obligation to the game of basketball, not financially. I'm okay. I mean, I think more or less from as a basketball player is to be able to pass on messages of success and dedication to the game of basketball.
Still love it?
Love it like you wouldn't believe. I mean, in all honesty, I wish I could take a magic pill, put on shorts and go out and play the game of basketball today. Because that's who I am. That's that type of competition, that type of competitiveness is what I live for, and I miss it. I miss that aspect of playing the game of basketball. Being able to challenge myself against what people see as great basketball. But it's better for me to be sitting here talking to you as opposed to popping my Achilles and I'm in a wheelchair for a while.
Now, you know MJ is watching these games like once in a while these days and going, oh, man, if I could just get in there. Like the amount of damage he can do against this lackadaisical defense, these wide open lanes. Can you imagine? If we're thinking about it when we're watching the games, like what would MJ do to this? Imagine what he's thinking when he's watching these games.
It's nice to be able to share the things that can still make the game great going forward from your perspective.
Yeah, I think one of the things why I did this is as professional athletes, we have an obligation to pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of what, you know, this is all about is to pass it, pay it forward.
See, I like that. And I think that, you know, I'm at that age now where I think any of us older folk, like we have an obligation to pay all of our wisdom forward to the next generation. Like I really do believe that's how this circle of life goes.
Jordan has won it. A spectacular hole.
So don't hide behind your mistakes, people. They become good teaching tools.
Your love of the game is still there.
Oh yeah, the
I
clause.
can feel it from you, right?
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, so the love of the game clause. Not only does he not load manage, not only does he show up to every game, no matter what, but even beyond that, the love of the game clause means I could play basketball anytime I want with anyone I want, and no one can tell me otherwise. Like that's how much he loved basketball. This is what like us old heads talk about when we're like, people don't love the game of basketball like they used to. They just want the fame and money. This is why we talk about it. Because back then you couldn't stop an NBA player from playing extra basketball. You know, it's the thing that they love to do. And now it's like it's impossible to get players to suit up and actually go do the mandatory part of basketball, which is show up to the games. Completely different completely different era, and you can just see the love is not there.
Love of the game fuel your career.
It was the basis of my career. My love of the game within my contract, which, you know, I'm pretty sure most contracts now, I'm actually positive now, don't have that clause within the contract where
You had a clause in your contract.
love of the game contract that if I was driving with you down the street and I see a basketball game on the side of the road, I can go play in that basketball game. And if I get hurt, my contract is still guaranteed. I love the game so much that I would never let someone take the opportunity for me to play the game away from me. As opposed to now where you don't have it, players probably don't play. Now they get individual attention with their trainer.
Sure.
You know, ready to go out and shoot 100 shots or 1,000 shots. I found it to my benefit was go play basketball, man. That's what you did. That's what you grew up doing.
That's how you got better.
Larry Bird you took a whole summer to work on his left hand, right? He did it by playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's May. My season's been over. I'm a third-year guy in the league. I call you. Michael, what do I do from now until the season starts to get better? What are the things you tell me that are important?
First of all, is your passion. You know, there's something about your passion or wanting to get better that drives that energy. I mean, when I say passion, that means if I have a love for ice cream, I mean, real deep love for ice cream. I'm gonna do everything I can to go find ice cream.
Yep.
Or find that flavor of ice cream.
What flavor, by the way?
Butter pecan for me.
Okay, go ahead.
Just so you know.
I gotta try that.
But in terms of, you know, if basketball was that type of love for me, you know, I had to find a way to make sure I was the best basketball player I could be. You know, and I had a conversation this summer with a high executive at Minnesota. And he was talking about Anthony Edwards.
Yep, Ant-Man.
I heard during the course of the year that, you know, they were double teaming me. You know, he didn't know how to deal with the double team. Well, that's the highest respect that you can ever get if a team feels like they got a double team you. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you figure out a way to break that double team? Move without the ball, move into the post, get in scoring position so that the double team, you can act before the double.
Yes.
All those simple things. So, yeah. Those are the types of conversations I try to have when players seek that information.
Do you see the players?
By the way, I wish Devin Booker would give MJ a call. That's one thing that drives me crazy about Book is he still can't handle a double team for whatever reason. I feel like there's a lot more people other than Michael Jordan who can teach him this, but for some reason he hasn't learned. And real quick, before I forget, the topic of, when Jordan was talking about, well, people are like, they're still getting time. The players are still getting time with their individual trainers, but they're not playing basketball enough anymore. Jordan is not the first time I've heard this. I've been hearing this from a lot of ex-NBA players, older NBA players who have been part of these programs. Whether it's like an assistant coach or a trainer for a team, but they're all saying the same thing about these NBA organizations now. These players, they might get a scrimmage each practice if they're lucky, but 90% of the time it's all individual training. So they're not really getting into a flow of basketball. They're working on their individual skills, like shoot 1,000 jump shots. That's cool and all, but then they're not getting that simulation of what is this going to feel like in game enough. And I was really surprised when I really heard about that. Apparently Europe is going the opposite direction, and maybe that's why they're catching up to us. Can we back this up?
When players seek that information.
Do you see the players of today's basketball with that mindset to achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have.
That's the line. That's the line right there. It's a badass line, and it's been stuck in my head over the last couple of days. But he is going to summarize what I've been trying to say about why I see a negative in how much guaranteed money these players are getting right out of the gates. Okay? So I'll let him explain it. But this is the reason. It's not like I've read comments, and I'm like, oh, you're just jealous because they're rich and you're not. I'm like, you're not seeing the point. I'm speaking in a perspective of love for the game of basketball, a game I've loved since I was 5 years old, and the health of the game of basketball. Now, what's going to motivate a player to really want to win a championship, really make a name for themselves, if right out of the gate they're guaranteed $250, $300 million? They already won the game of life, and they might be like 18, 19 years old. What's left to be hungry for if you've already got, first day on earth, you're at a buffet. You're not going to be hungry. You're not going to want. And anyway, sorry. Let's let MJ say his thing.
To achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have. Simple as that. I mean, if you don't have, you are willing to do whatever you have. So my mental approach was go in, do my job, be the best basketball player I can be, and all the chips and everything outside of that, I had people that was handling that, But basketball court, I'm handling it, right? And now it's like, it's a prerequisite. Everybody has to have a logo. Everybody has to have a...
why, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm part of the reason why everybody tries to get a logo, but...
Brand, right?
A brand.
Right, brand Jordan.
But the thing is that brand established based on what I did on the basketball court. I didn't put the brand before I put the work. I put the work first, and then the brand evolved based on the work.
And to his point, if he did not perform and live up to his expectations, he wouldn't have been selling shoes. And there's no way people would be buying his shoes, I mean, this started in 84, right? So we're at 20, 40, 41 years later. There's no way in hell people would be buying his shoes 41 years later, waiting in line for them if he didn't do his job first. That's what sold the damn shoes, not the logo. Nobody would care about that logo if it didn't mean something. It means something because of what we saw him do every day on the court.
A lot of times it's different. You see it in every sport, not just basketball, football, baseball. Everybody's walking around with a logo and a hat, and I get it. But whatever I did here is never going to affect what I do on the basketball court.
But do you think that's harder now for guys? There's social media and all this stuff, so they got to cut through the clutter here a bit, right?
Yeah, that's true. I like to think that if I was playing today,
right,
I like to think that no matter what, my game is going to validate whatever I try to participate in away from the game. It's really tough for the kids today, and most of them do a great job of navigating what you're talking about. That's, as long as you understand that this is always going to be what you're remembered for.
Yeah.
Basketball and your love for basketball should always be pure. we would play this game. I've always said this. We would play this game for free. We did.
Yeah.
And now we just so happen to get paid for it.
Yeah. Everyone grew up playing it for free. It's just, certain ones ended up making it a career, making it a job. But we all did it for free at one point.
Paid for it. Generationally, I like to think that most of the time that people will remember Michael Jordan based on what he did on the basketball court, and not always the commercials that he did.
Crazy. You can see the sincerity in his eyes. All right, that's the last one. And I love how self-aware he is about all this. Because seriously, if he didn't put his craft first, then the irony is he wouldn't have had a brand. He wouldn't have made nearly as much money. But it's all these years later, we might have a pair of Jordans, or we might have some clothing with the Jordan logo on it and all that, and everyone knows the logo. But what do we think about when we mention Michael Jordan? We're thinking about the last shot against Utah. We're thinking about all these things he did, the 63 against Boston. We're thinking about these stories. And none of these stories are about what he's doing outside of the basketball court. We might have a couple that we remember. The Last Dance provided us with a lot more of those stories. However, we think about what he did on that court, because he could say anything he wanted about who he is as a person, or who he is as a basketball player, what he believes in. But if he went out there and just sucked every game, no one would give a damn what he has to say, because that's, your game is doing the talking for you. So if your game is incredible, like it was for him, we're talking about how amazing it was every day. Y'all remember, if you're old enough, in the 80s and the 90s, every single day at school, you'd go oh, did you see what Jordan did? And that's me here in Phoenix, Arizona. And there was a lot of people who hated Jordan out here. But the funny thing is even if they hated him, everyone saw what Jordan did last night. Did you see that move? Did you see him dunk on David Robinson's head like that? How the hell did he do that? That's what sold his merch. So it was, like I said, the Jumpman logo wasn't even the original logo, if you guys are old enough to remember. And in the Jordan 1s, that logo was completely different, okay? So in other words, the shoe was selling off the charts without the logo. The logo means nothing. We've just gotten accustomed to it. We're very comfortable with it. Why is that merchandise selling? Because it's Michael freaking Jordan, and we saw what he did. Guy showed up to work every day, never made excuses. Hell of a winner, just a psychotic winner. And we see to this day, he still feels pressure to perform, even though he's been retired for over 20 years. You know what I mean? And he's still feeling that pressure to make a free throw just so he can live up to his expectations. Very different mindset than what we see nowadays. And I do miss it a lot. I miss that level of just self-accountability. But it is what it is. I'm glad Jordan is doing these segments, and I'm glad he's talking about these things. I wish there was a lot more than this. I'm not going to pretend I'm satisfied with this, but at least it's better than nothing, I guess. It's rare that we get to see Jordan just sit down and talk about basketball, so I do appreciate it. But yeah, I think that's going to do it, you guys. I'll wait for another couple of these to come out, and then I'll react to those as well. But for the time being, I'll see you later, okay? Like the video if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe plus if you'd like to support my channel. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends.